A few months ago, I made a video on lockout tagout where we reviewed the 4 ways there are to control energy. And they were to tolerate the energy, treat the energy, transfer the energy, or terminate the energy. And out of those 4 ways, it was determined the best way to control energy is to terminate it. Because that way you never have to engage with the energy at all. Well, I'm happy and I'm sad to admit that I made a mistake. There is actually a 5th way to control energy, and that is to not even engage in the energy at all. And this is where impaired driving comes into play, because we do not need to operate a vehicle while impaired, and we don't need to enter a vehicle with an impaired driver. And the reality is the statistics on impaired driving are absolutely horrible. Every day in the United States, there is roughly 37 people that die from impaired driving. In Canada, that's 3 people every day that die. And in the United States annually, there is 13,500 fatalities from impaired drivers. And in Canada, that's roughly 2,500 fatalities. These are all avoidable fatalities. And it simply comes down to making better choices on how we're going to get home at the end of the night after partying and having fun with our friends. And I really believe that there's 3 things everybody should do when it comes to avoiding impaired driving. The first is to make a commitment to yourself that you will never enter a vehicle with an impaired driver and you will never operate a vehicle while impaired. And when you make that commitment, you set a moral standard for yourself. So if the situation ever arises where you're in an area where you might enter a vehicle while impaired or with an impaired driver, that moral compass will kick in and you will re-question the decisions you're about to make and hopefully make a better choice. The second thing I think everybody should do when it comes to avoid impaired driving is plan ahead. And it's really not hard at the beginning of the night to know that you're going to be drinking or being around people who are drinking and that have a way that's already pre-planned on how you're going to get home. And that's research public transit. Make sure you know the routes and when the buses stop so you can get home. Or phone an Uber and ensure you have enough money in the account to be able to get home and pay for that Uber. Maybe have a designated driver and ensure that designated driver stays sober. Let your friend, a spouse, a partner, a parent know that you're going to be going out and you may need to phone them in the middle of the night to be able to get home. Or just sleep it off at your friend's house until you're able to be able to get home. And the third thing I think everybody should do is allow yourself to be able to reassess as the situation changes. Because maybe you went out and you didn't plan on having a drink at all, or your designated driver didn't plan on having a drink at all. And then things changed. Next thing you know, you did have a drink or 2 or 3 or 4. And if you allow yourself to be able to reassess the situation, it then allows you to make better choices. Because when it comes to impaired driving, I always look at it from the impaired driver point of view. And how quick a person who is just going to go out with their friends, let down their hair, release some stress, relax, celebrate an occasion. At the end of the night, how quickly things can change. To where now they're a criminal, and it could affect their employment or their ability to get future employment, which could affect their ability to be able to provide for their family and do the things they love to do. It could now also add up to thousands of dollars in legal fees that you have to pay for a lawyer to defend you. It also could add up to where you lose your license and now you have to rely on public transit all the time to be able to get around. And in the worst case scenario, if things do horribly go wrong, you may have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a murderer. I took someone else's life because I chose to operate a vehicle while impaired. And that's not easy to do. To not only become a criminal from someone who just wanted to go out and have a fun night, to now be a criminal and a murderer. And when it comes to safety, that's why we want to be safe. But safety's not there to stop you from having fun or hanging out with your friends or celebrating occasions or relieving stress or letting your hair down. Safety actually allows us to always do those things because we make better choices, which prevent incidences, save lives, and allow us to always have fun, where we can make tons of memories in life with the people we love doing things we love to do. And it simply comes down to making better choices. So make that commitment to yourself. Plan ahead when you're going to go out and you know you're going to be around drugs or alcohol, and allow yourself to reassess as a situation occurs. And by doing that, I think you'll find that you don't need to operate a vehicle while impaired or enter one with an impaired driver. I hope you enjoyed this Safety Minute. If you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to bring me out to your workplace where I can share safety messages with your crews, go to spencerspeaks.ca. Until the next Safety Minute, stay safe.